The desert winds carried silence across the land of Arabia, yet within that silence the world was preparing for a man whose wisdom and courage would echo for all eternity. Hazrat Ali bin Abi Talib, cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was no ordinary figure in history. He was raised in the very household of the Prophet, nurtured by his character, and molded by his guidance. While many know him as a warrior of Badr, Uhud, and Khaybr, and as a leader of unmatched justice, there remain countless untold secrets of his life that most have never known. These secrets are not legends, but truths preserved through time, shining as hidden gems of knowledge, waiting for hearts willing to listen. Ali's childhood itself was one of the greatest secrets of his destiny. From a very young age he was placed in the care of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Unlike other children who grew up in the chaos of ignorance, Ali was raised under the wing of prophethood. He saw firsthand the honesty of the Prophet. Before Islam was declared, he watched how truth was lived, and he absorbed the purity of character long before revelation descended. While others knew the Prophet as a relative, a friend, or a merchant, Ali knew him as his guardian, his teacher, and his model. This unique upbringing gave him a vision that no other child of his time could possess. The first untold secret lies in Ali's acceptance of Islam. When the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received revelation, the message was met with fear and resistance. But Ali, though still a boy, accepted it without hesitation. He was the first among the youth to declare his faith. While grown men hesitated, calculating the dangers, Ali stood by the Prophet with the pure courage of faith. This was not the courage of a soldier, but the courage of a heart that recognized truth without doubt. Many narrations preserve that Ali never bowed to an idol, never tasted the poison of shirk. In a land drowning in idol worship, he was among the rarest souls who never bent before falsehood. This was a secret of divine preparation. Another hidden aspect of Ali's life was his knowledge so vast that scholars later called him the gate to the city of wisdom. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself said, "I am the city of knowledge, and Ali is its gate." These words were not mere praise, but a truth reflected in every aspect of his life. Ali's understanding of the Quran, his explanations of its verses, his judgments in matters of law, and his insights into the mysteries of faith astonished even the greatest minds. He was not a man who repeated words. He was a man whose tongue flowed with wisdom, as though knowledge itself lived in his heart. Ali's courage on the battlefield is often remembered in stories of Khaybr, when he tore down the gate of the fortress, or of Badr, when his sword struck terror into the hearts of the enemy. But beyond these stories lies a deeper secret. His courage was never for pride or glory. Unlike warriors of his time who fought for fame, Ali's sword was moved only by faith. He saw the battlefield not as a place to earn titles, but as a stage to defend truth. In every battle he sought the face of God, not the praise of men. This secret transformed his bravery into a light of justice rather than a shadow of violence. 1. Of the most untold secrets of his life rests in the night of migration, when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was commanded to leave Mecca for Medina. Enemies plotted to kill him as he slept. In that moment, Ali was asked to lie in the Prophet's bed, sacrificing his own life so the Prophet might escape. Without hesitation, Ali lay down. knowing full well that assassins with drawn swords would burst into the room. This act was not just bravery, but a love so pure that it risked everything for the preservation of truth. While the world slept, Ali lay on that bed, and in that moment his secret loyalty was revealed to the angels themselves. Yet Ali's secrets were not only in war and sacrifice, they were in his words. His sermons, preserved later in works of history, carry insights that pierce the heart even today. He spoke of the nature of the soul, of the fleeting nature of the world, of the beauty of patience, and of the light of faith. His words were not the echo of books, but the wisdom of a heart polished by devotion. He once said that people are slaves to this world, and religion rests on their tongues, but only when tested do the faithful shine. Such words carried the weight of experience, reflecting not only knowledge, but a vision sharpened by trials. Another secret of his character was his humility. Though unmatched in courage and wisdom, Ali lived with simplicity. He wore rough clothes, ate simple food, and lived among the poor as one of them. Even when he became leader, he did not build palaces or surround himself with luxuries. He patched his own garments, repaired his own shoes, and shared his bread with orphans and beggars. His humility was not weakness, but strength, a reminder that leadership in Islam is not power over people, but service to them. Ali's justice remains one of the most remarkable parts of his life. When he was caliph, people expected him to rule with the authority of a king. Instead, he ruled with the fairness of a servant of God. He did not allow favoritism, even toward his own family. Once, when his brother requested extra from the public treasury, Ali refused, and instead lit a piece of iron in fire, holding it close to his brother, reminding him of the fire of the hereafter. His justice was absolute, unbending before wealth, family, or power. This secret of his governance made him beloved by the weak, but feared by the corrupt. Among the lesser-told stories is his relationship with orphans. He was often seen carrying food on his back, delivering it to widows and children in the night, hidden from the eyes of men. He wept with orphans, played with them, and fed them with his own hand. The next day, people would see orphans running happily around him, unaware that their caretaker was the leader of the believers. This was not a display, but a hidden act of devotion, a secret between Ali and his Lord. Ali's insight into the unseen is also remembered in whispers among the faithful. His sermons often contained words that seemed to predict the future, warnings of divisions and descriptions of events that later unfolded exactly as he had said. Some thought him to have knowledge beyond men, and indeed the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had entrusted him with truths that others did not carry. This was not sorcery or fortune-telling, but wisdom given by God to those who stand closest to truth. The secret of Ali's patience is one that shines brightly, yet is rarely spoken. After the death of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Ali bore trials that would have broken lesser men. He endured loss, betrayal, and injustice. Yet he did not abandon the unity of the community. He remained steadfast, holding his pain within, choosing patience over division. His silence was not weakness but sacrifice, for he placed the survival of the faith above his own rights. This was a secret strength greater than the sword. The life of Hazrat Ali bin Abi Talib was a treasure chest of wisdom and hidden truths, and the more one opens it, the deeper the light shines. In the first part, his early years, his faith, and his unmatched sacrifices revealed the foundation of a life unlike any other. Yet his story cannot be contained within a single telling. The secrets of his character stretched far beyond his childhood and the early battles of Islam. They lived in his judgments as a ruler, in his whispers of wisdom, in his hidden acts of kindness, and in the mysteries that only the faithful could see. Ali's era of leadership brought forth secrets that many overlooked. When he was chosen as Caliph, the world expected him to grasp power with both hands, to rule with the pride of authority. But Ali revealed a secret of leadership rarely understood. True power lies in justice, not in control. He refused to exploit the treasury, even when poverty touched his own household. He rejected luxuries, choosing instead the rough clothing of the common man. While other rulers dined on rich meals, Ali would sit at his table with coarse bread, salt, and water. When asked why he lived so simply, he replied that a leader could not sleep full while the people slept hungry. This was not a slogan, but a secret principle of governance that still burns as a light for all ages. One story tells of how Ali once found his armor in the hands of a Christian citizen. The man claimed it was his, and the case was brought before the judge. Ali stood as a plaintiff, the man as a defendant. The judge asked for witnesses. Ali had none. The judge, bound by law, ruled in favor of the Christian. Ali accepted the judgment without anger, though it meant losing his armor. Seeing this, the Christian was astonished. He confessed that only a true man of God could accept such a verdict against himself while being the caliph. He returned the armor and embraced Islam. This untold secret shows how Ali's justice was not for display. It was lived in reality, even when it went against his own interest. Ali's sermons carried secrets of knowledge that generations still study. He spoke of the cosmos, of creation, of the soul, and of the unseen, with a clarity that scholars of philosophy could barely grasp. His words were not drawn from Greek philosophers or foreign texts, but from the well of divine knowledge entrusted. To him, he described the universe as a book written by God, each star a letter, each creature a sign. He explained the depth of the human soul, the struggle between desire and faith, the fleeting nature of the world. His sermons, collected later in works of history, became a sea of wisdom where every drop carried secrets of truth. Another hidden side of Ali's character was his bravery against hypocrisy. While many feared to confront those who wore masks of piety, but hid corruption in their hearts, Ali saw through them. He often warned people against those who twisted religion for power. He said that the most dangerous enemy is not the one who openly rejects truth, but the one who dresses falsehood in the garments of faith. This wisdom remains a secret shield for believers in every age, teaching them to see beyond appearances and to measure truth by sincerity, not by outward show. Ali's nights held secrets that few witnessed. While the world slept, he would stand in prayer until his feet swelled. His whispers to God carried the pain of a heart burdened with the weight of justice, the sorrow of betrayal, and the longing for nearness to the Creator. His supplications revealed a secret intimacy with God that cannot be described in words. He would weep not out of fear of punishment, but out of love and awe for the one he served. To those who saw him in battle, he was a lion. To those who saw him in prayer, He was a humble servant, trembling before his Lord. This balance between courage and humility was one of the greatest secrets of his soul. Ali's generosity was another treasure hidden from the eyes of many. When he gave charity, he gave it in secret. He carried food on his back to widows and orphans under the cover of night, refusing to let his left hand know what his right hand had given. People only discovered later that the man who knocked on their door to leave bread and dates was none other than the leader of the believers. His secrets of charity became known only after his death, when families realized that the food that once arrived mysteriously had ceased. His generosity was not for praise, it was for God alone. There are stories of Ali's foresight, of how he spoke of events that would unfold long after his time. He warned of divisions that would fracture the Muslim community, of leaders who would misuse faith, of wars that would tear the Ummah apart. His words were not guesses, but insights given through divine knowledge. He once told people that they would be tested with wealth, power, and pride, and that the true faithful would be those who held to justice, even when surrounded by falsehood. Many of these warnings later came true, a proof of his insight into the currents of history. Ali's relationship with knowledge was unlike that of any scholar. He did not speak merely from intellect, but from a heart illuminated by truth. He said that knowledge is better than wealth, for knowledge guards you, while wealth demands to be guarded. He reminded his followers that wisdom is the lost property of the believer, to be taken wherever it is found. These words were secrets of survival for the faithful, guiding them to treasure knowledge over possessions, truth over power. His courage on the battlefield has been told in countless stories, but its secret side was his refusal to kill out of anger. Once in battle, when he struck an enemy down, the man spat at him. Ali raised his sword to finish him, then stopped and walked away. When asked why, he said that he feared his strike would no longer be for God, but for anger. This untold secret revealed the purity of his intention. His sword moved only for justice, never for ego. Ali's family life, too, carried secrets of love and sacrifice. His marriage to Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was one of simplicity and devotion. Their home was filled not with wealth, but with faith. He helped her with household chores, ground flour with his own hands, and soothed the cries of their children. The leader of warriors was also a tender husband and a gentle father. The secrets of his love became lessons for generations that greatness is not in ruling others, but in serving one's family with kindness. Another hidden truth is how Ali bore the burden of betrayal. Many turned against him, some who once praised him later fought him. Yet he did not let bitterness poison his heart. He treated even his enemies with fairness, reminding his soldiers never to strike a fleeing foe, never to harm women or children, never to destroy crops or homes. Even in war, his justice was absolute. These were secrets of mercy that showed that even when surrounded by hostility, Ali remained a servant of God's compassion. Ali's words on death revealed another layer of his secrets. He often said that this world was like a passing shadow, and the real home was the hereafter. When the time of his martyrdom drew near, he embraced it not with fear, but with longing. He said, "By the Lord of the Kaaba, I have succeeded." This was not resignation, but triumph, the secret of a man who lived every moment for truth, and who saw death not as an end, but as a return to the one he loved. The life of Hazrat Ali bin Abi Talib was a river of wisdom that never ran dry. His childhood beside the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his courage on the battlefield, his humility as a leader, his devotion in prayer, and his hidden acts of generosity were chapters of a story that inspired hearts through centuries. But the secrets of his life did not end with his rule. They continued to unfold in his final days, in the moment of his martyrdom, and in the legacy that still lives wherever truth is remembered. Ali's final days carried a heavy weight. The trials of leadership had worn his body, but his spirit remained unshaken. He had fought not only on the battlefield, but also in the hearts of his people, where division, pride, and greed threatened to break the unity of the Muslim community. He warned his followers again and again that the greatest danger was not the enemy outside, but the corruption within. This foresight was one of his deepest secrets. He could see that the test of faith would not come only from swords, but from ambition, wealth, and pride that blinded men from truth. He often reminded his companions that the world was fleeting, that clinging to it would only lead to ruin. His sermons in these last days carried a tone of farewell, as though he was preparing their hearts for what was to come. He spoke of patience, of justice, of the need to hold firmly to truth, even when it was difficult. Those close to him began to sense that his time was drawing near. The secret of his words was that they were not only for his generation, but for all who would come after. The night of his martyrdom is one of the most heart-piercing chapters in history. It was the month of Ramadan, and Ali, as was his custom, spent his nights in deep prayer. His face showed the marks of a man who carried the burden of justice, yet his eyes reflected the peace of one who longed for God. On the 19th night of Ramadan, Ali entered the mosque of Kufa. The dawn was just breaking, the world quiet in its moment before sunrise. As he stood in prayer, bowing in submission, a conspirator struck him with a poisoned sword. Blood flowed from his head as the mosque filled with cries of anguish. But Ali's response revealed the secret of his heart. Instead of anger, he whispered words of surrender. "By the Lord of the Kaaba, I have succeeded." These words were not of defeat, but of victory. For Ali, success was not measured in thrones or crowns, but in faith kept till the last breath. His martyrdom was a secret triumph, for it revealed that a life lived entirely for God ends not in loss, but in eternal success. His children and companions rushed to him, weeping at the sight of his wounds. Yet Ali comforted them, reminding them that death is only a passage, that the true life lies in the hereafter. He advised them to fear God, to uphold justice, and to care for orphans and the poor. Even in his last moments, his concern was not for himself, but for his people and their faith. This was the secret of a leader who lived not for power, but for service. As the days passed after his wounding, Ali's strength weakened, but his heart remained strong. He continued to advise his family, reminding them of the importance of prayer, patience, and unity. He warned them against following desires and pride, against letting division tear apart the Ummah. He left behind not just a legacy of battles and sermons, but a will of faith, a testament written not on paper, but in the hearts of those who heard him. When he finally returned to his Lord, the heavens and earth seemed to mourn. The orphans who once laughed in his arms now cried for the man who carried bread to their doors at night. The poor wept for the leader who lived as one of them. The believers wept for the gate of knowledge who had been taken from them. His martyrdom left the world with a wound, but also with a legacy that no sword could erase. The secrets of Ali's life became clearer after his passing. People began to realize that the mysterious man who used to bring food at night was him. Widows recalled the strong figure who carried sacks of grain on his back. Children remembered the kind man who played with them in the streets, unaware he was the leader of the believers. These hidden acts of charity revealed the secret of his heart, that his greatness was not in the power he held, but in the service he gave. Ali's knowledge, too, became more precious after his death. His sermons, sayings, and judgments were collected and preserved. Scholars marveled at the depth of his words that carried meanings far beyond their time. His explanations of the Quran, his insights into human nature, his wisdom about justice and leadership each became a lamp for generations. His words were not bound to history. They reached across centuries, guiding hearts in times of trial. This was the secret of timeless wisdom, wisdom that flows from a soul connected to truth. One of the most untold secrets of Ali's life is the spiritual legacy he left behind. Beyond the battles and politics, beyond the divisions of history, his soul continues to inspire seekers of truth. His prayers, his supplications, his whispered cries in the night became treasures for those longing for closeness to God. His humility in worship, his tears in solitude, his trembling before his Lord all revealed a secret that true strength lies in submission to the Creator. Ali's life also carried the secret of balance. He was a lion in battle, yet a gentle father at home. He was a ruler of vast lands, yet he lived with the simplicity of a poor man. He was unmatched in knowledge, yet he called himself a servant of God. This balance was not easy, but it was the secret of his greatness. He showed that true leadership is not one-dimensional. It is strength tempered by mercy, power restrained by justice, knowledge adorned with humility. His martyrdom also revealed another secret. The truth cannot be silenced by violence. Those who struck him down thought they could end his influence, but his name only grew brighter with time. His blood nourished the soil of faith. His sacrifice inspired generations, and his words became banners of guidance. The secret of martyrdom is that while the body falls, the message rises higher. Ali's life and death proved that truth lives beyond the reach of swords. The lessons hidden in his life are countless. He taught that justice must never bend before wealth. He taught that knowledge is a treasure greater than gold. He taught that humility is the crown of greatness. He taught that patience in trials is stronger than anger in battle. He taught that worship is not ritual but intimacy with God. These were the secrets of a man who walked among people but lived with God. As we reflect on Ali's life, the untold secrets come together as a mirror. In that mirror we see the qualities that the world desperately needs: justice and leadership, humility and power, compassion for the weak, courage for the truth, and devotion to the Creator. Ali's life was not just for his time, but for all time. His secrets were not locked in history, but left as keys for every generation that seeks truth. And so, the story of Hazrat Ali bin Abi Talib reaches its conclusion, not in sorrow, but in light. His martyrdom was not an end, but a beginning. His secrets continue to guide hearts. His wisdom continues to inspire minds, and his example continues to strengthen souls. the man who was raised by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who never bowed to an idol, who risked his life for truth, who ruled with justice, who lived with humility, who prayed with tears, and who died with the words of triumph on his lips. His story is the eternal secret of success. The legacy of Hazrat Ali bin Abi Talib cannot be confined to a single part, for every stage of his life contains secrets waiting to be unveiled. His birth inside the holy Kaaba, his childhood raised under the care of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his bravery in battles, his wisdom in leadership, and his humility in worship each stand as pillars of a life unmatched in history. Yet there are still secrets and truths in his character, his teachings, and his influence that continue to inspire humanity today. In this final part, we journey deeper into those hidden treasures and close with a conclusion that ties his eternal legacy to every heart that seeks truth. The secret of his birth itself a miracle often forgotten. Ali's birth took place inside the sacred Kaaba, the house of God. His mother, Fatima bint Asad, entered the holy sanctuary, and the walls are said to have opened to welcome her. No one before him and no one after him was granted such an honor. This untold secret of his birth foreshadowed his destiny, that he would live and die as a man chosen by God, forever linked to his house. The fact that the world saw his first cry inside the holiest of places is a sign that his life was not ordinary but divinely destined. The secret of his knowledge, Ali's knowledge, was not like the knowledge of scholars who memorized words from books. His knowledge flowed like a river from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who taught him truths hidden from others. When asked about his wisdom, Ali said that the Prophet placed 1,000 doors of knowledge in his heart, and from each door 1,000 doors open. He spoke of the mysteries of creation, the secrets of the stars, the realities of the soul, and the depth of divine justice. His knowledge was so vast that even centuries later, philosophers and scholars still marvel at the depth of his words. This secret knowledge makes Ali a guide not only for his generation, but for all who seek wisdom across time. The secret of his worship many remember Ali as a warrior, but fewer know the secret of his worship. At night, when the world slept, Ali would stand alone in prayer, trembling before God. His tears would wet his beard, and his whispers would fill the silence. Once an arrow pierced his foot during battle, and the pain was unbearable. Yet when he stood in prayer, the arrow was removed without him noticing, because his heart was so lost in the presence of God. The secret of his worship was that his strength in battle came from his surrender in prayer. He was a lion in the day, but a humble servant in the night. The secret of his simplicity, though he ruled as Caliph over vast lands, Ali lived with the simplicity of the poorest man. His clothes were patched, his meals consisted of bread and salt, and his house was plain. He refused luxuries, saying the world was like a snake smooth to the touch, but deadly within. Once, when offered honey and fine bread, he refused, saying how could he enjoy sweetness while the poor slept hungry. His simplicity was not poverty of means, but poverty of desire. This secret showed that true greatness lies not in possessing the world, but in freeing oneself from it. The secret of his justice, Ali's justice, was legendary, but its secrets are often untold. He once punished his own governor for misusing public wealth, proving that no man was above accountability. He judged cases without favoritism, even when they involved his own family. His justice was not only in courts, but in daily life. Once, he saw a poor man forced to carry a heavy load while the rich walked free. Ali lifted the burden himself, saying a leader must be the first servant of the people. The secret of his justice was that it was rooted not in law alone, but in mercy, fairness, and the fear of God. The secret of his courage, Ali's courage in battle, is well-known batter, Uyed Chiber Hanan, but the secret of his bravery lies in his intention. He never struck for anger or revenge. Once, during combat, his opponent spat at him. Ali stopped and walked away, refusing to kill out of personal rage. His sword was never for ego, but only for truth. This secret revealed that real courage is not only defeating the enemy outside, but also conquering the enemy within. His bravery was not the pride of warriors, but the humility of a servant of God. The secret of his patience after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Ali faced betrayal, loss, and injustice. Many turned away from him, some even fought against him, yet Ali bore it with patience. He chose unity of the Ummah over personal power, even when it cost him dearly. He endured slander, betrayal, and war, yet he never abandoned justice. The secret of his patience was that he saw beyond the moment. He saw the test of God and placed faith above pride. His silence at times was louder than speeches, and his endurance became a lesson for all who suffer injustice. The secret of his love, Ali's love, was deep and sincere. His marriage to Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was filled with simplicity and devotion. Their home was humble, yet it was a palace of faith. He helped her with chores, cared for their children, and treated her with tenderness. His love was not loud or boastful, but quiet and constant. This secret of his family life showed that true love lies not in wealth or words, but in service, sacrifice, and faith shared together. The secret of his martyrdom, Ali's final words are among the greatest secrets of his soul. Struck by a poisoned sword while in prayer at the mosque of Kufa, he whispered, "By the Lord of the Kaaba, I have succeeded." To the world it looked like defeat. To Ali it was triumph. His whole life had been lived for God, and now his death was a return to him. The secret of his martyrdom was that success is not measured by crowns or armies, but by faith carried until the final breath. His blood stained the mosque, but his soul soared in victory. The secret of his legacy, Ali's legacy, is not confined to history. His words, his actions, his sacrifices continue to breathe in the hearts of the faithful. Orphans remember him as the man who carried food to their homes at night. Scholars remember him as the gate of knowledge. Warriors remember him as the lion of God. Believers remember him as the embodiment of justice. The secret of his legacy is that it lives beyond time. Kings and empires fell, but Ali's name remains eternal, a light for all who seek truth. The untold secrets of Hazrat Ali bin Abi Talib are not just stories of the past. They are lessons for every age, for every soul that seeks guidance. His birth in the Kaaba revealed divine choice. His childhood beside the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, revealed divine nurturing. His acceptance of Islam as a boy revealed divine courage. His sword in battle revealed divine strength. His tears in prayer revealed divine humility. His justice as a ruler revealed divine fairness. His patience in trial revealed divine endurance. His martyrdom revealed divine triumph. Ali was not only a companion, not only a leader, not only a warrior. He was the embodiment of justice, wisdom, and faith. He showed that greatness is not in wealth, but in service, not in power, but in justice, not in pride, but in humility. His secrets, once hidden, continue to shine as guidance dot, and so the story of Ali closes not in sorrow, but in eternal light. His life was a message, his martyrdom a victory, his legacy a treasure. The untold secrets of Hazrat Ali bin Abi Talib are no longer hidden. They live in every heart that remembers justice, wisdom, courage, and devotion to God. Ali's words echo still. This world is a passing shadow. The real home is the hereafter. Whoever walks in his path walks in the light of truth. His life teaches us that no matter how dark the world becomes, faith, justice, and patience will always lead to success. This is the final secret of Hazrat Ali bin Abi Talib. You never knew before, but now you do.